Hello, my name is Tegan Reeves. I'm a research associate with Dr. I-Chan Huang at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Today, I will be sharing the applications of the PRO-CTCAE in adult survivors of childhood cancer. This is a content elicitation study, and it's the qualitative phase of a larger grant-funded project. To give you a little background, the American Cancer Society reports that the overall 5-year survival rate among childhood cancer is up to 85%. That means that 500,000 childhood cancer survivors are in the United States today. However, survivors develop a wide range of late effects, including chronic health conditions, physical and neurocognitive deficits, poor quality of life, and multiple symptoms. Symptom assessment provides a unique insight into survivorship care, since symptoms not only signal the potential occurrence of chronic health conditions, but can also impact quality of life and survival. The National Cancer Institute has developed a patient-reported outcomes version of the common terminology criteria for adverse events to assess symptomatic events for adult-onset cancer patients who are receiving therapies. However, this is designed for adults undergoing cancer treatment, so application for clinical and research use in childhood cancer survivors is unknown. Our study aim was to explore symptomatic experiences of these adult survivors of childhood cancer, identifying themes of symptomatic issues, and creating items that may be used in measurement in conjunction with the current PRO-CTCAE. We used a sequential design, starting with in-depth semi-structured interviews. We used image-elicited methodology to help the survivor talk about symptomatic issues through these images, either in person or on a screen. Our research site started at the St. Jude Survivorship Clinic. However, COVID and quarantine happened in the middle of the study, so we paused our study and worked to make sure that we could keep our survivors safe while moving the study onto a platform. Using PECSIP, we then conducted 60 virtual interviews. Our inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria stayed the same, as well as seeking moderate to severe symptom experiences using historical data and a stratification screening checklist, which I will explain in a moment. To explain our stratification, this chart shows each of the symptom screening checklist items in the domains that are coherent with the PRO-CTCAE. We then assigned 3 domains to each interview, as well as the general domain. This number was aiming towards saturation, generally about 20 to 30 interviews in each domain, so that we could accurately and representatively look at all of the domains in the PRO-CTCAE. To tell you a little bit about our survivors, we had an average age of 42 and about 34 years from cancer diagnosis. As you can see, we had more females than males and more white non-Hispanic than any other race or ethnicity. I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process of our data analysis. We transcribed each of the interviews verbatim and removed personal health information. From those transcriptions, pieces were segmented into each organ domain. This was assigned and observed, so both assigned domains and ones that were not assigned but belonged in that specific domain. We applied an a priori code with sensitizing structure This is an image of some of the codes that started and then eventually developed through our next inductive phase of line-by-line coding using constant comparison. With weekly meetings, we discussed frequent fields and added to them. This is an image of one interview. You can see that each line of the interview has a certain color and code. We then applied a deductive matrix using current PRO measures like the ICD-9 and the patient portal. We looked at current PRO items and how that mapped onto the codes we had in vivo developed. This then went to clinician review, where items and symptomatic experiences were labeled, some were deleted, and we found new and modified items. I'll give you an example of how this moved through the process. This is verbatim from one transcription. First, it was segmented into the cardiovascular domain in a bigger paragraph. This is important because this particular transcription was not assigned into the cardiovascular domain, but the symptomatic experience arose from the in-depth conversations. We then applied the a priori code of sensation. In the inductive phase, flutter came out. In the deductive phase, this was an abnormal heart sensation and was grouped with other symptomatic abnormal heart sensations. And eventually in the matrix became irregular heartbeat, which was a modified symptom. In total, we had 12 domains, 11 organ-specific and our general domain. We started with 7 a priori fields, which led to 18,000 codes, 435 experiences, and 149 symptoms. To give you an idea of this, I'll show you the progression per domain. Here are all 12 of our domains. So at first, each of the pieces of the transcription were segmented, and then the a priori code was put onto it. Then symptomatic experiences, you can see that there's quite a bit here, which led to symptom suggestions in our deductive codes. And then a total number of symptoms in each of these domains, with red being new and maroon modified. To give you a little bit more insight into the new and modified symptoms, I'll start with 6 domains. You can see in respiratory we had 2 new symptoms and 4 modified. In cardiovascular, we didn't have new, but we had 3 modified. In digestive, we had 1 new, 4 modified. In musculoskeletal, 2 new and 4 modified. And in neurological, 2 new, 7 modified. In psychological cognitive, 2 new and 4 modified. In the last 6 domains, you can see that in head and neck we had the most amount of new symptoms and 3 modified. In skin we had 2 new and 3 modified. In urinary we did not have any new symptoms, we had 4 modified. We did have a new symptom and a modified symptom in the sexual domain, a new symptom and 2 modified symptoms in the metabolic domain, and 2 new general symptoms and 3 modified general symptoms. In conclusion, childhood cancer survivors have unique symptomatic experiences that are not fully captured in the current PRO-CTCAE. We found 21 new and 42 modified concepts that should be subjected to rigorous future research. First, by field testing these through cognitive debriefing methods and verifying them as items or symptom items. Then eliciting clinician perspectives to talk about the clinical relevance of each of these. Finally, validating psychometric properties and incorporating clinical parameters around these so that this can be integrated into the current PRO-CTCAE for childhood cancer survivors. I'd like to thank our St. Jude Life participants, and ALSAC for supporting our research. Should you have any questions, the contact and primary investigators are listed here